Here's a summary in a picture of what happened to our three populations of original birds over 1 million years. So let's just look at the first 500,000. We began our journey in the Southwest, and after 500,000 years, we still found ourselves as birds in the Southwest. When I chose these three populations of birds, the characteristics, I deliberately chose them extremely different from each other. So small, medium, large, green, brown, yellow, short beak, medium beak, long curved beak. I wanted them to be deliberately different because they're in the same habitat, and I wanted to see what would happen to such extremes of variety in the same habitat. So after 500,000 years, we found we only ended up with two of our three habitats. The largest yellow bird with the curved beak um, was not the most fit because if you remember, there was not much, if any, flowering plants that had nectar. So the long curved beak was not the most fit. We noticed an odd change in the other two populations. The green turned to brown and the brown turned to green, probably because the population was the same. So a random mutation in each of the populations didn't make them more or less fit, but it did change their ability to attract mates. Also, from the first small light green bird, we ended up with a slightly curved beak and slightly larger body. In the medium-sized bird, we ended up with a medium curved medium curved beak, medium sized body, medium small sized body. So these two birds ended up evolving in a similar direction. They both are the same size, medium small. They have medium slightly curved and medium curved beak. And the only difference really is the plumage. One is slightly larger. So we can see that the same habitat evolved these two more similar populations toward the same changes. Then remember we had a hurricane, and this selection of birds, which I guess would be this selection since this one didn't exist. Oh, we started at the southwest and they were transported to the northeast, northwest, and southeast. So after 100,000 years, you can see that the original bird hasn't changed much. This bird mutated to a larger bird, which made it less fit. And I believe they just put the same bird in there for this one. So these two ended up being almost exactly the same. In the northeast, medium straight beak, medium long and straight, light brown, and medium small. Light brown, medium small. So these two are almost exactly the same, except for one beak is slightly longer. And if you remember, that's because their food source was predominantly insects and seeds. In the Northwest, which is this habitat that we did not choose, this was an arid desert habitat, if you remember. In the Northwest, it was apparently utopia conditions for birds. There were seeds, there were insects, and there were nectar flowers as food sources. There were no predators, and the foliage was green. So the original bird didn't change much except that this population from here, the beak got slightly more curved. And these three populations basically look the same with one difference in the body size. But the beak is medium and curved, medium slightly curved, medium long and curved. So they also evolved in a similar pattern to adapt to their conditions. In the southeast, however, that was a pretty rough condition for birds in general. There was only, at one point, only one food source, and there were a lot of predators. So The original bird and the first and third populations, they weren't fit to survive. The second population was on its way out as well, but the most ideal bird for that condition or for that habitat would have been um, medium curved beak, dark green, medium small. And again, a lot of this came as a result from mutation. So, as if a mutation didn't, if it didn't fit the environment, it didn't stick around. And then if they didn't mutate into a more beneficial variety, then they were less fit overall and didn't get a chance to increase their population numbers. So that's it in a nutshell. We're going to discuss this together as a group in class.